Hi, here we are again with part 2 of my Elvis DVDs. Cameras recharged, let's hope it all goes well. Okay, the next DVD is called Remembering Elvis. These are all my documentaries about Elvis. Now this one doesn't have much information at all about what's actually on it. Yeah, it's just sort of got the story of his life virtually, and a nice looking DVD, nice label. I think I have played that. This one is called The Definitive Years, Elvis, The Comeback, The Vegas Years. And it's in 2 sections, the comeback, and it talks about 1968. He showed up on television in black leather, followed his success on TV by beginning the work that would keep him busy for the rest of his life. The Vegas years, in 1969, Elvis began what would become a run of performances at the International Hotel. Throughout the rest of his career, Elvis and Las Vegas would be inextricably linked together in the public's mind. Yeah, true. Most of the younger generation of Elvis fans equate Elvis with Las Vegas, which isn't a bad thing. Not Vegas so much, but those years. This is a nicely set out label, nice DB. Nice, it's late, I'm getting tired. A nice DVD label. So, I'm not sure if I've played that one. I really need to play. You know, I'm going through a stage where I'm going through all these movies first because it's so long since I've seen them all. I'm up to Kid Galahad, I've played that. And I haven't got, the only film I forgot to mention before is Blue Hawaii. But I've seen it so many times, I know it backwards, word perfect, so I'm not worried if I don't get that one for a while. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to go through all the movies, then I'm gradually going to work my way through all of these. It's going to take years. Right, Elvis, a 50th anniversary celebration. So, in a 50th anniversary celebration, a rare tribute with stars such as Tom Jones, Pat Boone, Neil Sedaka, Glenn Campbell, Kenny Rogers, CZ Quattro, Scotty Moore, Tab Hunter, Cliff Richard, and so on, reflecting on Elvis's extraordinary talent and enduring popularity after half a century. So it seems like that's mostly talking. Many of Elvis's famous friends and fans open up about what the King was really like. I really love stuff. I love to hear people talking about Elvis. It seems so more real than a book. Sometimes books can be misinterpreted. The way they're written can be changed by the editors and people who publish the book. So you're never really quite sure what you're getting with a book. But when you actually see people talking about Elvis, that's generally pretty positive. So that's that's a good one. Elvis Presley, The Searcher. I think I've got the book. See, The Searcher includes never before seen, heard that before, photos and footage from private collections worldwide, stunning atmospheric shots taken inside Graceland, Elvis's home, and more than 20 new interviews with Priscilla. That's nothing new about that. And the many artists, session players, producers, engineers and directors who knew him or were profoundly influenced by him. Gee, I think we're all profoundly influenced by Elvis. Yep. Nice label. This one's got a book, lovely little book about this. This is a Sony production, so that must be fairly recent, yeah. Lots of small photos on each page. Bit hard to flip through holding it backwards, but yeah, so this is I think another one of mostly interviews. I don't think I've played it yet. Frank Sinatra. I might have played a bit of it. Anyway, something to look forward to, but yep. Another DVD. Now this one I love. He Touched Me, the gospel music of Elvis. This is a 2 CD collection, and if you like listening to which we all do, the various gospel CDs, you will love this. This is just fantastic. He Touched Me, the Gospel Music, Volume 1 and 2, feature more than 30 of Elvis's gospel recordings and never-before-seen footage. This 3-hour collection, filled with personal stories by those who knew him well, goes behind the scenes of Elvis's career. Discover how Elvis was dramatically influenced by 2 of Southern gospel music's premier quartets, the Statesman and the Blackwood brothers. Examine Elvis's 30-year friendship with gospel legend J.D. Sumner. Learn of the controversy surrounding his performance of Peace in the Valley on the Ed Sullivan Show. Hear the surprising story behind the recording of his signature hymn, How Great Thou Art. You'll see Elvis in a new light as you witness how deeply he was touched by gospel music. Over 3 hours of music and interviews. It's a really fabulous pair of DVDs, and really nice DVDs too, the labels. Thoroughly recommend it. Okay, Elvis gave away homes, horses, rings and 200 Cadillacs, and his gifts keep on giving. 200 Cadillacs. This was a documentary that focuses on the generosity of Elvis. The King's gift of choice was a shiny new Cadillac, and it goes on. The recipients, and let's see, it lists all the different people. He's the Jordanaires, his friends, his family, his all his assistants and people in his life that all receive gifts. So that's pretty much what their interviews. Of over 200 photos of Elvis during different periods of his life. Haven't played that yet. I think I've seen a bit of it on YouTube at some stage. But again, that's enough. And that's really terrific, because how often do you think, have a fan said, the media there ought to be some sort of a record of what Elvis has done? I mean, there's more than that. There's a lot more that he's done, isn't there? Someday, maybe one day, geez, I'm tired. Somebody will write a book listing everything, writing down everything that Elvis ever did for the community and the world. Elvis by the Presleys. That's been on TV, I think. The most revealing and poignant video portrait we will ever see of the artist as husband, father and friend, as never before. Priscilla Presley and Lisa Marie Presley, along with members of Elvis's family and extended family, freely share their own stories, emotions and intimate memories on camera, and they allow us to enjoy home movie footage of Elvis never before shared with his fans. Double DVD set includes live performance footage from every stage of his career. So yeah, that's quite comprehensive. 2 discs. That one, and oh no, this is just a pamphlet. Yep, saying what's on it and who did it. All that. Yep, quite good. Okay, Elvis, the final chapter, a 1 hour special. What happened? Why did it happen? Did it have to happen? Journey through the last years of Elvis's life is told by the people who were there 24 hours a day. You'll hear the real story from Joe Esposito, Elvis's friend and personal assistant, from the day they left the army until the day Elvis died. You'll hear an amazing story from Sheila Ryan, one of Elvis's long-term love affairs. She was there for 2 years in Las Vegas, on tours at Graceland and in the bedroom. Her incredible story will surprise, shock and sadden you as she tells of Elvis's long downward spiral of abuse from prescription drugs, eating disorders, mood swings, unusual... Well, okay, righto. Joe Esposito will tell you of Elvis's idiosyncrasies, his obsessions with guns, karate, his extreme generosity and his relationships with women. You'll hear the story of Don Wilson, whom Elvis befriended as a 10-year-old boy when the entire family died in a tragic accident. Elvis remained Don's friend until the day he died. I didn't know. I'd seen the name Don Wilson from time to time. I didn't know who he was. Many of Elvis's close friends and co-stars explain the relationship between Elvis and the Colonel. It's a true story of what? Yeah, so a lot of intimate sort of stuff, I guess. Don't know if I've played that. I can't remember. I have to have a look again. That's the label. Okay, now these last few are different. Ed Sullivan's Rock and Roll Classics, Elvis Presley and Other Rock Greats. This is a piece of history, really. It's got the 6 Elvis songs that Elvis did on the Ed Sullivan Show, but it also includes the Beatles, the Bee Gees, the Byrds, the Four Tops, the Temptations and the Rolling Stones. So quite good. I'm not necessarily a great fan of all of those, but you know, like I said, the history in the making, isn't it? Rock and roll. But yeah, we've probably all got most of the Ed Sullivan appearances, but it's nice to have them all in one thing like that. This one is deceptive. The Roadshow Interstate, Elvis and Johnny Cash. Well, you think, and the Plus Music CD, the $1 Million Fall, you would assume that it's somehow they've got footage of Elvis and Johnny Cash together or doing shows together. No. You would assume that it's something to do with the $1 Million Quartet. No. Well, sort of. The first one is a DVD, disc one is a DVD, and the second one is a CD. So the Roadshow Interstate. On the DVD, there's about 30 tracks, and it's alternately Elvis and Johnny Cash, Elvis and Johnny Cash. Films of them singing their song. Now, it's good. It's not what I thought it was going to be, but hey, I like Johnny Cash, so that's fine. The CD track listing, the six, oh God, I think I'll start again. The $1 Million Fall, and it's Elvis, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Carl Perkins alternating tracks of some of their songs. Yeah, so it's okay. The music's good. The film is good, but not quite what I expected. Elvis the movie, of course. Now I've got to say that out of all the movies that have been done with Elvis being portrayed by other people, I've seen bits and pieces on YouTube, in some cases the whole movies, and honestly, I don't really want to buy them. To me, the sort of thing, you've seen them once, I don't want to see them again. Except this one, I just think this was a sensational film. Just the special effects and everything, and the work they put into it. So the others, yeah, but I'm not going to get, but that one I'll get. Finally, this movie is called Touched by Love. It's based on this book, To Elvis with Love, by Lena Canada. I'll read the synopsis of the film off the back. The heartwarming real story stars Diane Lane as a handicapped child and Deborah Raffin as a dedicated woman who teaches her the power of love. Abandoned by her mother, Karen Brown, an isolated cerebral palsy victim, has grown up in a house for disabled children. All attempts to reach her have failed. But then, a young nurse's aide, Lena Canada, becomes deeply involved in Karen's rehabilitation. Over the protests of her superior, Dr. Bell, Lena devotes herself to bringing the child out of her shell. Eventually, Karen finds an outlet for her emotions through a surprising pen pal, Elvis Presley. An incredible tale of personal triumph. Touched by Love will both move and inspire you. Well, reading the book had me in tears, and seeing the movie had me in tears. It is a true story. This little girl was just idolised Elvis, and she was well known in her head because she could communicate until this nurse, brought it out of her. The nurse discovered she liked Elvis because she watched her listening to a film, a record back in those days, 1978. And she asked the little girl about it, and the little girl at first was embarrassed. She didn't want to talk about it. And eventually she confided in the nurse, and she said she's always loved Elvis because he was so alive, so vibrant, so good looking, and had such a lovely voice. And the nurse started buying records. And then one day they were out on a picnic, and the little girl was lying on a picnic rug, and she said, "I wonder what he's doing now." And the nurse said, "Why don't we write to him and ask him?" And the little girl, "Can we do that?" So they did. They wrote to Elvis, and the little girl's hand in her own words. And in the book it goes through it took ages for him to answer. And in the book it describes how when they didn't get an answer, not straight, they knew they wouldn't hear from him straight away, but the nurse wrote to some journalist in Hollywood who said she knew Elvis and said, "We've written this letter, is it possible that Elvis can find it and write to her?" And explained the situation about her being disabled. And the journalist read the letter and said, "Yeah, let's do something." And she contacted Elvis. They tracked down the letter. Elvis wrote back to her. He wrote a letter to this little disabled girl, and it's just I don't want to start crying, but it really is touching. Anyway, Elvis started sending her records and gifts and stuff from time to time, and writing her letters when she wrote back, and gave her a special address to write to so her letters wouldn't get just lost in the millions of others. And the last gift she received was a big pink teddy bear, and that night after she got it, she died. But it was, but it was just, it showed the compassion, you know, of Elvis. Because like I said, it's all true, it's all documented, true story. It's the most beautiful book and the most beautiful film. It's probably not everybody's cup of tea, but anyway, I can recommend it. Thank you for watching. I hope this one's turned out all right. I might have a look at it and think I'll do it all again because I've stuffed up. It's 11 o'clock at night and I'm tired. Bye for now.